What is up, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to DVDs, Nuts, and Popcorn. Yes, I am back. The physical media Mac. As some like to call me, the PMM. Some people call me the PMM. I don't like that. It's the PMM. Get it right. Anyway, this is our weekly showcase of movies that I've watched, movies that I've picked up out in the wild, purchases off of Amazon, eBay, and whatnot. And unboxings as well. I got another package from Retro Tiburon of the Retro Wave podcast. And so that should be interesting. Now, hopefully you guys are having a relaxing and entertaining Sunday. Hopefully I can add to that entertainment factor. You know, I really have to say, for a person like myself who watches pretty much a horror movie every night, if not multiple, year-round, this October has been very strange because I fell into this cyborg android rabbit hole, and I've been watching nothing but cyborg and android and crappy sci-fi films all month, starting a couple of months back, actually. And then I said, wait, I have to stop this. It's Halloween. I got to watch scary movies. So we'll go over a couple of the movies that I've seen. But again, you know, I fall into another rabbit hole. I go from cyborg films to trying to watch horror, traditional Halloween-style horror, I guess you could say. And then I fall into the rabbit hole of shark movies again. So let's just go into some of the shark films first that I picked up online. Now, this brings me to this point. I started to think in my head, like, what are the greatest shark movies of all time? If we take Jaws and just leave that one out of the equation, because obviously that's going to dominate the top of the list. So let's say non-Jaws shark movies, the best of all time. Maybe a top 5, maybe a top 10. Now, that being said, if we were not to take the Jaws franchise out of it, number 1, Jaws 1 would be first for me, or the number 1 movie. Jaws 2 would be second, and Jaws 4 would be third. Jaws 3 would be nowhere near my top 10 of Jaws movie or shark movies of all time. I'm just not a big fan of it. Now, what other movies besides Jaws? So I did some research. Plus, I'm a big shark fan, so I've seen, you know, a ton of shark movies. So I know good, bad, and the ugly of the shark films over the years. But I decided to get some important ones, I thought. Now, this is a pretty cool 3-film collection. Let's just start here. Because the first of this trilogy is literally in everybody's top 10 shark list, and I'm going to have to strongly agree. We have the 3-film open water franchise here, or trilogy. And yeah, it's been many years since I watched Open Water, the first one. So I skipped right ahead to Open Water 2, Adrift. And let's just talk about that one really quick here. This is a very interesting film, guys. Super interesting. And I'm going to tell you why in a minute. I'm going to try not to spoil too much out of these films, but there might be a few small spoilers. I'll just read the synopsis on this because it's pretty easy. And it's a really great idea. And I really feel that this could happen. This would happen to someone. And I'm sure this has probably happened before, which sets up a really decent flick. All right, so a luxury yacht cruise goes awry for a group of old high school friends. Yeah, these high school friends, they show them in these like home videos in the beginning when they're real young, and then they reunite to go on this this cruise or on this yacht. Now, so of high school friends who, they jump right to it, by the way, who forget to lower the ladder before enjoying an ocean swim, the boat proves impossible to climb, leaving them adrift miles from shore. What started as a joyful reunion becomes a fight for survival. Now, the reason why I find this movie to be so fascinating, I'm an hour into the film. This is where the spoiler is going to come in, but I still think that this spoiler is not going to affect it. I think you guys are still going to watch it and not be bothered that I'm spoiling it a little bit here. But I'm an hour into the film, and it's only like an hour 30 minute movie, which all movies should be, by the way. Hour 20 I would prefer. But I'm an hour into the movie, and there is literally, like, maybe in the 20-minute mark, so one of the girls, when they're in the water, say, I think there's a shark under us, or something of that nature. And one of the guys looks under. He doesn't see anything, and he says, oh, I think when we were, paddling our legs or flapping our legs back and forth, it scared the shark away. You never see a shark. And that is it, guys. They never mention a shark. I don't believe the rest of the movie. You don't see a shark fin. You don't see a shark. Nothing to do with sharks. And I'm like, okay, the last 30 minutes of this movie is going to be an action-packed shark film. No, that does not happen at all. This is literally not a shark movie. I can't say that strongly enough. Now, you won't see it here, but when you turn on, if you went out and purchased, I think, at least the digital, it shows the artwork on each film digitally, okay, when you put this in. So if you went out, I think, and bought the Open Water 2 on DVD or Blu-ray, I don't think it shows a shark in the picture, because I think they knew they would piss people off. And Open Water, the first one has a shark in the original art, and then Open Water 3 Cage Dive has a shark in the original art. So they didn't put that in there. Again, I think they thought they would piss off people. Now, so yeah, I was a little pissed off, but it's actually an enjoyable film. Like, it's actually pretty fucking good. I'm not gonna lie. The drama that goes on once they get into the water, it's not like, they needed to throw a rope ladder over before they jumped in the ocean. This is an expensive, multi-million-dollar yacht where you press a button and this platform goes down into the water. They forgot to do that shit, which is pretty dumb. But listen, people are stupid, man. Let's face it. That could possibly I guarantee you that would happen to some dumbass. Now, so them being in the water, there's a lot more dangerous things than sharks. Sharks are not the only thing to worry about when you're in the ocean adrift. So I'll just say that without giving up too many spoilers. But I think the best part of it is what they try to do to get into the boat, their actions and the repercussions of some of their actions, and the drama that occurs with the protagonist in the film, or the ocean goers. All right, so yeah, I would recommend that one. Very odd that it does not have sharks in it, but definitely is entertaining, to say the least. Now, I wish I could say the same thing for Open Water 3 Cage Dive. I don't know what year this came out. Maybe I can find it here. Oh yeah, they were definitely trying to build upon the success of another movie that we're going to talk about, 47 Meters Down. That's what this was all about. And there's these two best friends and this girl, and they're so basically this is a found footage shark movie where they're recording the whole time. So it becomes kind of unbelievable when they're in the water and sharks are trying to attack them, yet they're still recording with a camera. One of the people in the water, one of the friends. But that's true for a lot of found footage films. But anyway, one of the friends is banging the other one behind his back, behind his back, and banging the chick behind his back, and the one that's being cheated on has is gonna propose to her for marriage, right? So you got that drama going on, and then all of a sudden they go cage diving together, unbeknownst to them that there's this cheating going on. And somehow in the middle of this movie, they're fighting about that. Somehow something happens where the main guy finds out that she's cheating with him, and it's just so stupid that this drama is going to be unfolding in the water. But anyway, when you first saw the sharks, they were it was like real footage, I think, of real sharks around a boat, which I'm sure they can get from, different cage dive expeditions, real ones that happen. So that was all cool and stuff. And some of the early scenes of the shark was pretty cool. And then all of a sudden it just went downhill. The CGI just got bad. I don't know. It wasn't, it started off decent, but it got worse and worse as the movie went on with the CGI. The shark just became less of a real thing to me. But, yeah, just an okay shark film in my opinion. And so then I went and watched Open Water again, and probably for the second time in my life, maybe 3 times, I don't know. It is based on a true story. If you're interested in it, there's a YouTube video that talks about the real 2 people that it happened to. I think they might even admit, I think they show footage maybe at the end of it, like a documentary style footage. And yeah, this really happened to 2 people. They went out on a scuba diving expedition, and the way they have it set up in here, but with a pen and paper, one of the persons that works on the crew is like checking everybody off as they go into the boat, right? But there was like this weird thing where this one guy shows up. I don't know if this really happened in real life, but the one guy shows up and he doesn't have a mask. And this snorkeling expedition service don't have extra masks, which I thought was weird. But he's just kind of this pricky kind of asshole type of guy. And he's like, come on, someone let me borrow their mask. No one has extra mask. And then, so this couple goes in the water, and the one girl gets freaked out. So they immediately get back out of the water, and she's like traumatized. And the guy's like, hey, can I use your mask if you're not going to use it or whatever? And then he's like about to go in the water, and the people that work the boat say, no, you have to go in. The rules are with a partner. You're not going in unless you have a partner. So he talks the guy to go in with him. So the count gets screwed up somehow. And then the couple that supposedly in real life, when I was reading up on this or watching a YouTube documentary, they were kind of at a very, rough, they're having a rough patch in their marriage and stuff. They were maybe a little bit late back to the boat, and the boat takes off, gone. And at one point there, I don't know if it was even doable, but there's like a boat they can see, but they don't know if it's their boat. And there's another boat on the other side, which they don't know if it's their boat. And the wife is like, hey, let's swim to one of these boats. And the husband's like, no, if we swim to that boat, we might not even make it. They might take off by the time we get over there. And what if it's not our boat? Then we're further away from the other boat. Sooner or later, both boats are gone, and they're adrift, man. And they're in the middle of the ocean. This is one of the more realistic. This is definitely the more realistic of these. But I've always felt like this was like a real, almost documentary style. It just felt real authentic to me. Like they were really in the water, and really surrounded by sharks. What makes this one different than most shark movies are always trying to show the biggest and the baddest shark in the world, right? If Jaws wasn't big enough, now we have to have the Meg, Deep Blue Sea. The sharks just get bigger and bigger and badder. And this one wasn't like this. This was more of like a school of shark. I don't know if they're called school. I know fish are schools. But it was just like And I don't know what kind of sharks they were. I want to say white fin sharks, because their fins look very different than other sharks. White fin tip, I think it's called. White tip sharks, white tip, something like that. But the sharks that you do not want to be in the water with at all are tiger sharks, bull sharks, great white sharks, hammerhead sharks, and I think white tip something or another sharks. I think the white tips were in this movie. And it wasn't like they had this big shark. They were like medium-sized sharks, but there were fucking lots of them. There's a really cool scene towards the end where one of them's in the water and she's kind of going in and out of the water so she can see under, and she comes up, and she can see under, and she comes up, and she can see under, and she just sees schools of these sharks just swarming her. And yeah, man, I'm not going to give up any more to Open Water, but Open Water is one of my favorite shark movies of all time. And I'm definitely going to put this in my top 5 for now. I need to watch some more shark movies because I haven't seen them all. I don't remember them all, but for sure, like I said, this is in everybody's top 10 list. Open Water, man. Check it out. All right, I spent a lot of time on that, didn't I? I mean, that's a cool Blu-ray too, man. I like having all 3 of those. All right, so a movie that I've seen today, I literally finished this up like an hour ago. And by the way, I just had a huge Mexican lunch, guys, so hopefully I can keep my energy here. That's why I got Starbucks. Give me a little pep, a little diesel fuel. But anyway, 47 Meters Down here. This is a movie that I kind of wrote off as just another bad shark movie. I only watched the beginning of it, thought it was kind of gimmicky. It's got Mandy Moore in it, which I've never really seen in anything else. But this is a really good shark movie, man. I enjoyed this one. It's got Claire Holt in it too. I'm not really sure on who she is. I did recognize one of the other actors in it, and he plays kind of a weird role. Kind of weird seeing him in this movie. Let me see if I can see who. I think he was like the captain of the ship that took them out to go cage diving. Well, anyway, that's not important. But yeah, Mandy Moore and her sister. I guess there's always some drama before these, because they're trying to get you to care about the characters in all of these movies, right? So besides, I would say besides Open Water 3 cage dive with the cheating going, I mean, you don't care about any of these, to be honest with you. But in this one, Mandy Moore's boyfriend broke up with her, and his sister's consoling her, and the boyfriend broke up with her because she's boring. And so I don't know if she's going on this little expedition with her sister to go cage diving, to put it on Instagram, to show her boyfriend that I am exciting. Maybe that's what it is. I don't know. But I think that's what it was. So anyway, they go cage diving. Okay. And I can't remember. I just watched and I can't even remember. Something happens where a great white attacks the cage, and it scares the shit out of them. And Mandy Moore doesn't want to be in the water anyway. She's not a very adventurous person. She's boring again. And she talks the sister into telling them on the radio to bring this motherfreaker up. I'm done. We saw a great white. It was fun. It tried to attack. This is a story we can tell our kids. Let's get out of the water while we're still alive. As they're going up, the winch breaks and they fall. They go from the top of the water 47 meters down and crash into the ocean floor. Now, some of the believability in this movie, you got to suspend, because even though they're in water, they're in a super heavy cage. I would assume they would die hitting the ocean floor like that. If not, they would break several bones and be in very bad shape. And that wasn't the case. But anyway, one of the things that I got to give this, and by the way, I don't know if I've said this, this is in everybody's top 10 shark movies of all time as well. And I looked at probably 30 to 40 different online top 10s. This is in Everybody's. So, and I gotta admit, for now, this is gonna be in my top 10 as well. Now, what I was gonna say is this movie really does a good job with the CGI. The sharks are really well done. Now, I know for a fact that there might be some scenes, but these sharks that are coming at them, trying to bite them and shit, there's no way they're real. And they do it in a way where the water's really like murky and dark, but not overly where it's like, oh, I can't see what's going on. They do it just well enough where you can see what's going on, but the CGI looks like it's some real fucking sharks. So kudos to whoever was responsible for that, the CGI in this, because they did a very, very good job. And I don't know if there's too many movies like this, because they only have so much oxygen. So you got great whites, you have oxygen, you have injuries that they're occurring from the different shit that's happening to them that they gotta stop from bleeding. And then they get, I don't want to tell you too much, but one of the girls gets trapped, which again, by the way, I'll just say it. There's another time the cage is going up and it falls again, and the lady's leg goes through the cage and is trapped between the ocean floor and the cage. Her leg would have snapped in half. She would have had bones sticking out of her. There is no friggin' way. I don't even think she cried during that scene. So some of the believability, again, you got to suspend. But yeah, man, I found this a highly enjoyable shark adventure, and it has a very different ending to it than most shark movies, and it's an ending I usually don't like in some movies, but it works really well in this one. And also the score is good in this film. So yeah, check it out. Mandy Moore, I thought the acting was done well as it also. Oh, here you go. Let me say it. There's one recognizable actor. Oh, Matthew Modine. Yeah, Matthew Modine. Oh, by the way, because, again, I'm such a nice guy. Here's the digital code. And this is brand new, guys. You know, being subscribed to me is the gift that just keeps on giving. All right, now, I think I did that some justice. Now, I did not open this up and watch this. I've only seen this one time. It is also based on a true story, like Open Water, and it's right up there with some of the best shark movies of all time. The Reef, guys. I have this right up there with Open Water in my top 5 shark movies of all time. This is a really awesome shark movie. Now, I'm trying to remember, because, again, I saw this a couple years ago on streaming services. All I can tell you is, let me see. What happens? What happens? All right, let's just read it. On a beautiful but shark-infested waters. I know what happens, but I want to get the details perfect. Oh, Australia, by the way, which is a very dangerous place for sharks. Australia's Great Barrier Reef. Ship delivery man Luke and his 4 hot, carefree friends set a yacht through paradise. Along the way, their ship is torn up open. Oh yeah, sharp rocks tear the boat open, and it begins to sink, leaving the passengers with a terrified choice: stay on board with slim hope of rescue, or swim 12 miles to the nearest island through a sea bloodthirsty, unseen danger. When they enter the water, a relentless great white immediately follows their trail for a white-knuckle chase that will fill the waters with blood. From the director of the acclaimed monster hit Black Water. Okay, Black Water. I'm trying to remember. Is that the alligator movie? I think it is. All right, so yeah, guys. So that ship is sinking, right? And it capsizes. So they have to get off, get on top of the boat. And then they're on top of the boat. They're like, what are we going to do? You know, and they need like gear because they're thinking about swimming towards that island that's 12 miles off. So one of the guys goes underwater and has to get into the boat, and he's swimming underwater into the boat, trying to get the scuba gear for him. And I think food and water and whatnot. They have to keep going back down under there. But they're on top of this boat. And I think two of the people are so terrified of sharks that they literally stay behind and they never go into the ocean. It's two people, but at the last minute, one of them says, oh, F you, I'm going. And she takes off. So this one guy stays on top of that boat. I can't remember if they mentioned if he survives. Again, I need to watch this again, but he's terrified of the water. And you really feel that. Like, you feel like if you were in that situation, would you be the guy who stays on top of that boat? We don't know how long that boat's going to stay afloat. It's capsized, like I said, flipped upside down. And I think eventually the whole boat will sink, but it might not be for hours and hours and hours. By then, a rescue team could come, helicopters, planes, and whatnot. I don't know, man. I might be the guy on the fucking boat, man. You're talking about Australia? There's great white sharks in the water. You expect me to jump in and swim 12 miles? I don't know, man. I don't think that guy's a coward at all. But, you know, he just took a chance. And I won't tell you if that chance was good or not, because I won't tell you if the people that jumped in the water actually make it. I'm not going to spoil it. But there's definitely some fins coming up in the water, which that's my favorite part of any shark movie. When you see a giant fin in the water and someone's swimming, that's scary as fuck, man. There's nothing like the ocean, man. It's the scariest place probably on earth because you can't see everything that's going on. And sharks are the scariest predator because they have that fin. That fin is like, okay, I am about to die. How big is this fucking shark? You don't know. If you see a big ass fin, it might be a 20-footer. You don't know. So it's just the scariness of not knowing. And then so there's a lot of putting on the goggles, looking under the water, trying to see if you can find sharks. Something brushes up against them. They're looking in the water. There's a lot of really intense scenes in this movie where it really does a good job. It really feels authentic, kind of like open water. And I don't know, man. This might be better than Open Water. This is a really fun shark film. And yeah, they try to get off that boat and swim 12 miles to get to that island, which I think is also called a reef. And, you know, do they make it is the question. I tell you what, they either make it or they get very fucking close. I'll just tell you that. But, yeah, man, I look forward to watching this again. And maybe I'll talk more in detail about this film. I don't really feel like I did it justice. But, again, another movie that's based on a true story. And this is a terrifying film, man. It really is. It's scary. I would never swim in the ocean in Australia. Hell no. All right, so guess what? This is a movie that's also in everybody's top 10. This is the Spanish version, but this is The Meg, starring Jason Statham. I've already pre-peeled this, so let's go ahead and open this up. This should be in English and Spanish, so I don't mind getting the Spanish version at all. I like the slip on it. Pretty cool artwork there. Now, The Meg is based on, if I got this correct, back in the dinosaur days, we had sharks that were like 40, 50 feet long. Could you imagine? I might even like this better. Look how cool that looks. I don't know if that's the Spanish version only, but I like that artwork. They're so carefree, having such a good time. And there the shark comes. Sorry guys, no digital on this. Even the disc has shark teeth. But yeah, I've never seen this. Everybody that I've talked to said it's really good, so... Oh, this is in Spanish, so I can't even tell you what's going on it. My bad. Go ahead and pause it right there, and you can read it if you want. So I'll just guess what happens. I get, you know, Jason Statham is, I don't know, a shark specialist sent out to figure out what's going on in the ocean, why there's a shark that's as big as an office building in the ocean. And he gets in there, takes a little swim with the 50-foot shark. They have a conversation, they try to work things out, and it ends very badly. But yeah, so the Meg, man, I've been wanting to watch this for a while. The Megalodon. And again, everybody seems to love this film. Now, obviously, this is going to be CGI. I don't see them doing a practical effect on this, but the CGI is done well, and everything else is pretty good. Should be a blast from what people tell me. So, all right, that's it for that. Enough with the shark movies, right? Now, I do need to rewatch Shark Night. I have that on Blu-ray. I think someone sent me that recently. And but I've seen it on a streaming service, and I think I enjoyed that one. That's up there in some people's list. And I need to get the Italian, I think it's called Great White, but it's also known as The Last Shark, which is a complete ripoff of Jaws. Like, they don't even try to hide it. I need to see that one. And of course, you have the Shark Attack films, all three of them. And then let's not forget Bait, which is a grocery shopping tsunami shark movie that's really fun. I've watched that a couple of times. There's a ton of shark movies. We'll get more into shark movies later on. We have more time. All right, because I felt so bad about not watching any Halloween films. I'm not going to talk too much about it because I spent too much time on the shark movies. But everybody knows this one, so I don't have to say too much about it. I jumped right into Halloween 2 because this is the movie that when we did a ranking on, I don't even remember, it might have been on my twin brothers, Mr. Tightwhite channel. If it wasn't, it was on DVDs, Nuts and Popcorn. We did a ranking of all the Halloween films, and this was actually my second favorite Halloween film. As I rewatched it this time, you might be surprised to hear, especially the people that know me, I don't know if I have it in my 2 spot anymore. It might have slipped a spot or 2. But I still love it. Great hospital horror film. And I tell you what, this is for certain. I think what I'm going to do next October is I'm going to watch this as a doubleheader. And I think that's how everybody should enjoy this. Because this is the true meaning of a sequel. It picks up right as Halloween 1 leaves off. So to watch these back-to-back is really the perfect move in my opinion. Now, it's so intertwined, the two films, in my mind, that I actually, when I was watching the beginning of it, I was like, holy shit, man. I thought when the guy gets mistaken as Michael Myers, with that, when he has the Halloween mask, he's going down the street trick-or-treating, and they start shooting at him, and he gets hit by the cop car and catches on fire. I thought that was in the original Halloween movie. So there were certain scenes that I mixed up with the original Halloween movie because they're so interconnected. But yeah, even though it slipped a spot or 2 for me, I still really, really enjoyed this film. I feel like Michael Myers is at his most terrifyingly evil point in this film. He's a scary Michael Myers in this one. And yeah, Loomis is back. Loomis, this is the one that Loomis dies in, right? Gets blown up in the end. It's a really gangster ending, man, with Loomis lighting the fucking lighter, excuse my French. And he goes out like a real soldier in this one, man. Credit to Loomis, man. So, And then, of course, Jamie Lee Curtis is back. It's got some cheesiness in it. One of the, not doctors, but the, two of the nurses, the male nurse and lady nurse, get into it, start having sex in a jacuzzi, and then Michael Myers says, "Nuh-uh, not happening. You ain't having sex in my movie." And he kills him. All right, enough with that. Now, this right here is one of the most underrated movies of all time, in my opinion. And I would say this is the true definition of a cult classic. Now, this is a 1986 horror film. So you got 80s vampire film here. This is a strip club vampire movie, guys. It has Chris Makespierre. Let me make sure I'm saying that right. Chris Makespierre. And I don't know him from anything else, guys, except for... Yeah, you're probably not going to be able to see this. But he's in that top picture right there. And I kept thinking, wow, he looks recognizable, but I don't know what he's in. And there's a movie that I watched when I was a kid called My Bodyguard. And he's the kid in school paying this other guy to protect him from the bully. And I was like, holy shit, when I found that out, I was like, oh, I do remember him now. So, plays a very like Zach Gallagher type of character, you know, from Gremlins. And Zach Gallagher? Is that his name? Galligan? Yeah, Galligan, I think. I don't know. The guy from Gremlins. You know what I'm talking about. But, so, the other, let me go over the other people that are in this, because it's got an interesting cast. So, it's got Robert Rustler in it. And he was in all kinds of movies when I was growing up, including Nightmare on Elm Street 2, Ron Grady. Remember, he was the guy, the friend who... I don't even know if he was a friend, but the guy who's going, you know, the main character who's turning into Freddy or whatever, how he goes and sneaks in his window and the guy's sleeping, he wakes him up, and he's like, what the fuck are you doing in my room? That guy from Nightmare on Elm Street 2 is the buddy in this movie of Chris Makespierre's character. And they're trying to get into a sorority, right? And they don't want to do the sorority stuff. They're like they're being hung by ropes and stuff, and they're doing this real weird thing, and they have this recording going on, and the pledgies are not they're the pledgies, but I don't know, I never went to college, I don't know what the hell this shit's called, but the people that are trying to get them into the sorority, that, you know, it's basically they're hazing them to get into the sorority. Let me just say that. But they're not buying it. You know, the recording messes up with the evil voice. So they're trying to scare them or some shit. And they basically take the ropes off, and they're like, this is dumb. We don't even want to be in your sorority. But then they start changing their mind, thinking, oh, they have nice housing, and they have great parties and stuff. So they're like, listen, instead of doing all this dumb stuff, what do we need to do to get into your sorority? And the guys come up with, we're having a party tonight. Bring a stripper to our party. So that is their mission. Both of those characters have to go find a strip club, but first they have to find a car, and they go, and this is so hilarious. So Ged Watanabe, I think that's how you say his name, Ged Watanabe, who, if you've watched I was about to say Breakfast Club, if you've watched 16 Candles, Long Duck Dong is in this freaking movie. And he's literally like the same character, but now he speaks English. And in real life, he's a comedian. I didn't know that. That's why he's so funny and so good as Long Duck Dong. But one of the greatest names in the history of comedies, right? Long Duck Dong. So he's a character in this movie that's filthy rich. He goes to this college, and he's literally like paying people to be his friends. He's got all these people. He's feeding them and buying them stuff and letting them use his cars. He owns all these cars and stuff. He also has this car service going on too. He owns all these Cadillacs and stuff as like a side gig. But he's literally like paying people to be his friends. That's how much he needs friends. So these two guys go to him because he has a car and says, hey, we need to have one of your cars. So he's like, okay, pay me this amount of money, you can have one of my cars. And they're like, we don't have any money. We just wanted to, if you do a favor for us, you know, you wash our back, we'll wash yours. And he's like, let me think about it. And he's like, okay, but I have a deal. I get to go on your little adventure, and you have to be my friend for a week. I think he said a month at first, and they're like, hell no. And he's like, okay, how about just a week? And they're like, you can stop being my friend after a week. And they're like, okay, you can come. But I don't know. His character is really funny in the movie, and like just like little silly stuff where he comes into the room and sees those two guys, and he's like, hey guys, what's going on? Is it okay if I call you guys? Like little stuff like that is so hilarious. And by the way, there's some really fun like one-liner. There's lots of great one-liners in this movie. There's another character called, let me see if I wrote him down. Sandy Barron, who's a old school comedian. I don't think he's still around, but he's like the manager of the strip club they end up going to, right? But he's like this evil, like villainous, like ex-mafia type of dude, and something's not right with him. They'll find out later on. But Sandy Barron is like introducing one of the strippers, and he says, whatever her name is, you know, Jezebel or whatever, coming to the stage, Jezebel. And he says, now this girl doesn't have too much upstairs, or this girl doesn't have too much going on upstairs, but oh, what a stairwell. You know, just like really classic lines like that. But anyway, they get in the car, with we'll just call him Long Duck Dong, right? And they go to the, they find a strip club, and before they go to the strip club, they go to this coffee bar, and they get into it with one of my favorite actors, bad guys of all time, is, in rest in peace, I found out that he died too a few years back, and that's Billy Drago's in this movie. He plays these like this hoodlum character with all these, with this gang of like misfits and shit. And so they're like part of the movie. They get into a fight at the coffee bar and stuff with the two main protagonists, and then they bail out of there and leave them behind and embarrass them. So they come back to haunt them later on in the movie. But anyway, they finally get to the strip club, and without giving up too much, I guess I don't want to spoil this whole movie, but Grace Jones is like the queen of the vampires. She's the head vampire. And, you know, Grace Jones, you know, she's not really my type or anything, but she's a super interesting looking woman. Like she's a fascinating individual. I'll give her that. She was a model, I think singer. She's an actress, very talented individual. But she plays a really cool vampire in this film. But, this is a really unique vampire film. I feel like this heavily inspired, what's the movie, not Death Before Dawn, the Quentin Tarantino, Robert Rodriguez, Dusk Before Dawn, right? Or Dusk Till Dawn. Why do I feel like I'm messing that up? Y'all know what I'm talking about. But anyway, but there's really nothing like this movie. It's really a great, you know, like some of the best, you know, Evil Dead 2, Return of the Living Dead 2, Return of the Living Dead 3, that perfect blend of comedy and horror. This is it right here. But it's different than those movies. It's hard to put this movie in any kind of box. It's just like a unique film from the 80s. If anything, I could say that I had some issues with it. I thought the score, the music soundtrack could have been a little bit better in it, considering it was an 80s film. But visually, there's a lot of cool vampires, transformations, and just a unique film in the vampire genre. This is directed by Richard Wink as well. I want to say off the top of my head, he's done like some newer stuff like Expendables 2 and films of that nature. But yeah, man, strip club vampire film. You got to check this one out, guys. Image Entertainment. This is a real fun ride. Some of the scenes where they're watching the strippers and they're drinking and shit is hilarious. especially with Long Duck Dong's ass. Oh, and by the way, I forgot to mention, there's a girl in here, a real pretty girl. Oh shit, they're not, let me see. Oh, Dee Pfeiffer. Dee Pfeiffer, a real pretty blonde chick in this movie. And sure enough, it's Michelle Pfeiffer's sister. And I've never seen her do anything else, but she plays like this angel of a strip club waitress, you know? That, I used to go to strip clubs a lot when I was younger and stuff. But you had the waitresses that would never strip, almost like they're morally more sound than the strippers. But not that stripping is immoral or anything like that. I'm not trying to say anything bad about strippers, but they worked at a strip club, but they would never strip. Almost, you know. So she's that girl. She wouldn't take her clothes off, but she's good in this too, man. I like a lot of the actors and actresses in the film. All right, now, man, I feel like I've been going on forever. All right, so this is one of the only non-horror films I picked up. I got this off of Amazon, I believe. Either that or eBay. And you guys know I've been into the Zagarino films, the Shadow Chaser films. And this is another film that Frank Zagarino's in, but it also has Lorenzo Lamas and a girl that I knew nothing about, who I am a big fan of now, Heather Mary Marson. And she's an absolute badass in this film. This is an extremely low-budget film, guys. Lorenzo Lamas plays a bad guy in this film, a Russian, like, mob boss. And he's effing hilarious in it. Let me see. Natalie Fedorov, which is Lorenzo Lamas of Snake Eater, of course. Love Snake Eater. Renegade. Former KGB agent turned Russian mafia weapons smuggler. Has, oh, I forgot that was his role. Has made a deal to steal U.S. military secrets and to sell those secrets to foreign hostile governments. The FBI are monitoring Fedorov's movements, and Agent Ethan Marshall, Frank Zagarino of Shadow Chaser, as aforementioned, has been charged with stopping Fedorov no matter what it takes. Meanwhile, Samantha Sam Stewart, who's Heather Mary Marson, and she was in Shark Hunter, by the way, which I think had, who was it? Sabatas Jr., Anthony Sabatas Jr., I think I'm saying that right. So I want to see that now. I got to see Shark Hunter because I really like her. A beautiful but deadly bounty hunter gets her hands on the package containing the military secrets which Fedorov needs. When Fedorov kidnaps Sam's sister and unleashes his pack of ruthless thugs to retrieve the secret documents, Agent Marshall must team up with Sam in order to save Sam's sister and destroy Fedorov's crime forever. Now, you look at the billing, Lorenzo Lamas, Frank Zagarino. You never think this Heather Mary Marson is going to be the baddest ass of all the baddest ass motherfuckers in this film. And she is, man. She's a good fighter. She's great with weapons. She is like literally like, she is like killing all of Fedorov's men in the movie. She is an absolute badass. And so yeah, I become a huge fan of her. And not only that, she's stunningly beautiful, man. Very beautiful woman. And this was a fun, listen, this is one of those, it's so bad, it's good, I will admit that, but I had fun with it, man. I really enjoyed it. It's an hour and 30-minute long, perfect run time, runs along at a really good pace. And again, man, Lorenzo Lamas is funny as shit as the Russian guy. And he's like killing people with this new gun, like left and right. And he's like, oh, I like this gun. You know, he's a real fun character in this film, man. I like Lorenzo Lamas in a lot of stuff. And yeah, Deadly Force Authorized in Lethal. Frank Zagarino does a good acting job in this movie. He's got some acting chops. He's not a bad actor. And he shows off a little bit. It's a little bit less brawn, a little bit more acting ability in this one for Zag. So shout out to him. All right, let's put all those in the box. In that box, we'll put those in the back here. What do we got here? All right, we'll go over some other Goodwill pickups. This is going to be a little bit different than some videos. So some of this stuff is probably stuff that I'm going to sell, but if somebody begs enough for it, maybe I'll send it their way. So we'll run through this pretty quick. I think the VHSs were like 25 or 50 cents. So let's go over those first. I found these at a resale shop close to my job. And I thought this was pretty cool, man. Wasp videos in the raw on VHS. And let me see. At last, the opportunity to have the Wasp singles video collection screaming out of your own TV. So it's got all their singles on here, which is pretty badass. Now, just a quick story on me. I was a weird kid. Like, I grew up idolizing Michael Jackson, but I also idolized Motley Crue. But that did not extend really to any other rock groups except for Motley Crue. That was my one group. I didn't check out Wasp. I didn't check out Cinderella. I didn't check out Quiet Riot. I didn't check out any of those groups. Heard them on the radio every once in a while, but the only album that I owned, yes, album, I said that, album, LP, vinyl, was Motley Crue's Shout at the Devil and House of Pain. No, not House of Pain, Theater of Pain. And so I don't really, like, again, if it was a radio hit, I heard it, but I can't put a face to it. You know, I don't know anything about Wasp's catalog. I don't know, why am I having a problem saying Wasp? Wasp. It's kind of a weird word. W-A-S-P. Wasp. I don't know. I have a lisp today, I guess. But anyway, yeah, I don't know too much about their discography. I know they're super famous. We're a badass group, but yeah, Wasp. And then next up here, we have Wasp again, live at the Lyceum London? I don't know. So a live video of them in London performing. Got the songs On Your Knees. Like, I can't even look at these songs and say, oh, I know what that is. On Your Knees, The Flame, Hellion, Sleeping in the Fire, I Want to Be Somebody. Those are the songs performed on this. All right, it's getting a little too hot. I'm going to turn the air. Sorry for the, if it makes a noise. All right, next up here, we have Iron Maiden, another group I don't know really too much about. I just heard radio hits. I've never owned a tape cassette, a CD, vinyl, nothing of theirs. And this is The Number of the Beast, featuring cuts from The Number of the Beast, Children of the Damned, Run to the Hills, and The Prisoner, plus extended interviews and bonus live footage of Hallowed Be Thy Name, Rio 2001. So yeah, I thought that was pretty badass. And we have more Iron Maiden here. The History of Iron Maiden, Part 1, The Early Days. A nice little clear case there. It's got the paperwork. The disc looked pretty cool. Got some inner art, yeah, inner artwork too. And these are all $1, so I wasn't going to pass up on these. This has Live at the Rainbow, 1981, Beast over Hammersmith, 82, Live in Dortmund, 83, The early days, 20th century box, live at the Ruskin, all kinds of live performances, man. And then we have more Iron Maiden, Rock in Rio. They had more stuff there, but some of the covers were printed up and it was like bootleg shit. If it didn't have a bar, a scanner bar on it, I wasn't gonna pick it up. Then we have Paul Stanley, One Live. And Paul Stanley, of course, is of Kiss. There's even some autographed stuff there too, but I didn't know if it was legit or not. And it was on some bootleg shit, it looked like. Then we have Wasp again, The Sting, live at the Key Club in LA. More inner artwork. And then last of the music stuff, we have Iron Maiden again, Death on the Road in a box set, 3 DVD set filmed during the Dance of Death World Tour. I don't know, what do you guys think? Should I pick this stuff up or what? That's some pretty freaking killer artwork. Wow, that's pretty badass. Yeah, man. $1 each on these, so I could not pass. All right, I've been needing this set for a while, guys. I don't know why. It seemed like I'd always have a problem finding Conan the Barbarian. I see that all the time, but Conan the Destroyer I never see in good condition. So I got the set here. It's called the Franchise Collection. And yeah, man. Conan the Destroyer is one of those, is a movie that has a beautiful lady in it that I've always wanted to, I remember reading up on, she was in like a movie that I like. I can't remember what it was. And then I looked back and I was like, holy shit, she's in Conan the Destroyer. I gotta see her in another movie. Let me see if I can figure it out real quick here. No, I'm not gonna be able to. And by the way, speaking of Grace Jones is in Destroyer for sure. And is it Olivia Diabo? It might be Olivia Diabo. I don't know. But anyway, yeah, man. I mean, these are the quintessential sword and sandal films, you know. The Deathstalkers in those movies are all good and stuff, but this is where it all started. These are the best. You can't beat these. They're the absolute. Are they number 1 and number 2 sword and sandal films of all time? Let's have an open discussion about it. Let's debate it. All right, so that's it for that. And then we'll get into Tiburon's package. But I want to talk a little bit about this. So I rarely buy new games. If you know me, I'm just not a new guy. I'm an old school retro player. But I am a massive fan of Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2. It's probably my favorite 360 game of all time. And it's definitely my favorite online game of all time. So the weird thing about this is, and by the way, I actually streamed this on my channel today, but I don't know, like my other channel that I do live stream gaming on, I cannot rescue my, I can't retrieve my Google account. That Google's not letting me for some reason, which is so stupid. So basically that channel's lost now. Like, I mean, the YouTube channel's there, non-essential gaming, but or maybe it's Mr. Non-Essential Gaming, but I can't add any new content to it. And I don't really like streaming on DVD's Nuts and Popcorn channel, but I kind of have no choice now unless I create another channel and start from scratch, and I hate doing that. But anyway, very confusing because maybe you guys know, comment below. I've been told by a friend of mine that they're probably going to be adding some classic Modern Warfare 2 maps to it, and that's why it has this name. But right now, you know, this is day 2 of having it. There's no Modern Warfare 2 maps on it. It's its own game. It's like a new game. It's not a reboot. It's not a remake. So there's a lot of I don't want to say clickbait, but it's like they're using this name to sell more copies of this. But this game is not Modern Warfare 2. I do not understand that. So Infinity Ward, Activision, get your shit together and put some Modern Warfare 2 maps on this effing game, or everybody's going to take their game back and get a refund on it. I mean, don't get me wrong. I like it. We're having a good time playing it. Me and my boy Old Dog, we're back playing all the time. And it's a fun game. But this game needs like 4 or 5 of the classic maps on it, and it'll just launch it into the stratosphere as one of the best games ever made. It's got to have those maps. Remastered maps of Terminal, what's the other one? High Rise. Yeah, High Rise. And there's probably one I'm leaving out. There's like 3 that are the all-time greatest maps in any kind of first-person war games. They need all 3 of those maps in their bare minimum. And, yeah, they'll get the pass. But right now, it's not enough just to make a great game. You got that name on there, you better live up to that title. That title right there says you're the best. And, no, you're not being the best unless you're putting maps in there from the best. Why do I feel like I need to play the national anthem right now? Oh, say can it be? All right, now let's get. Okay, so let me make sure I'm saying this right. By the way, you guys saw the Astros come back. Yeah, we lost that first game. We let the Phillies get back in it. We choked. We lost a game that we shouldn't have lost. But we came back and dominated that second game. Now we're heading back to Philly to get 2 out of 3, baby. I'm calling it. All right, speaking of Zags, you guys know I'm collecting a lot of Zag stuff. Anything that have to do with cyborgs, I'm on it. But also movies where he's kicking ass, banging chicks, and taking names, and shooting enemies, I'm picking up as well. We got Project Eliminator on Laserdisc. Why? Because Laserdisc is badass. Alright. Why did I buy this? Because David Carradine's in this motherfreaker. To destroy the ultimate killing machine. Unleash the ultimate human weapons. Alright. Action star David Carradine. Kung Fu. Bird on a Wire. Charges into hand-to-hand combat and high-tech suspense in this explosive futuristic killer. Fed up with the immortal weapons industry, scientific genius Dr. Markson destroys his newest, most deadly creation, an ultra-sophisticated flying attack laser powered by the latest artificial intelligence technology. Desperate to protect his lethal secrets, Markson hires a pair of formidable Special Force vets, Ron Morrill, Carradine, an awesome one-man assault squad named Jake Slade, Frank Zagarino of Stryker, but a rogue FBI agent and his ruthless mercenary thugs managed to kidnap the doctor and his beautiful daughter, leaving Morrill and Slade with just one option: carve their way through a small army of heavily armed killers, free the Marxians, and save the unsuspecting world from the nightmarish firepower of Project Eliminator. Damn it, I fucked up the word unsuspecting. I was doing so well. So yeah, I couldn't help myself. I watched like the first 20 minutes of this movie on stream service. Then I said, you know what? I can't sell out my Laserdisc. I'm gonna wait. So I put it down. I had some self-control. Now I'm gonna have to spin this in my Laserdisc player and check out Carradine and Zagarino. It was fun. It had, in the beginning, it had like some, almost like some Point Break bank robbery. Presidents wearing, villains wearing president masks, robbing a gas station, and Frank Zagarino happened to be there, so he kicks their ass. And it's about as far as I got in the movie. So I look forward to checking this one out and telling you guys more about it later on. I love Carradine ever since I watched the Future Cop movies, man. He is phenomenal in those movies. Might be a little drunk in some of that, but he's still phenomenal. All right, let's get to the box. I already opened the box, guys, but I'll show you what I got. All right, so Tiburon knows that I'm trying to collect Seagal films, so he actually sent me a good film, not a post-2000 film. He sent me a great 90s film. Wait a second, was this 80s or 90s? Can't remember now. Why is a year not on the back of movies? I think it was early 90s. This is one of his better films, Marked for Death. He kicks ass, and in these early movies, man, he just kicks ass, dude. He's a badass, man. He really was one of my favorites back in the day. Oh, nice. Got the paperwork, too. Very cool. It's basically Seagal against Jamaican drug lord and his gang. It's a badass film. All right, this is going to be post 99 right here. We got Pistol Whipped. Why do I feel like, you know what? Psylord might have sent me this already. So if somebody needs it, I can send it your way. Steven Seagal stars in the gritty, no-holds-barred action film. Because I remember talking about this because Lance Henriksen's in it. They came to collect a debt. He paid in full. Let me see if there's any more Seagal films. Oh, actually there is. All right, this is also pre-2000 here, Under Siege. Well, one of the last really good ones he did, I guess. If I remember correctly, this had Tommy Lee in it and Gary Busey, correct? Yeah, Gary Busey and Tommy Lee Jones. So yeah, fun film there. Snapback case. Not a big fan of the snapback. All right, I don't know. Like, he sent this. Psylord, aka Tylord, he took the bullet as far as I'm concerned, because he sent this to all of us in the text group, and he already watched it and basically said they ran out of budget in the movie, so the movie just ends. Like, literally, like, the movie ends. They run out of money. They run out of film. They run out of, it's definitely wasn't recorded with real film. They run out of battery. I don't know what they run out of everything. And this movie just ends when it doesn't even have like a final act or something. And that's what I'm getting from their non-spoiler talk. But I have no interest in it. I think Tyler even said that it's really not a horror movie. At first I thought, oh, I really like hood horror. So I was interested, but from hearing him talk about it in his video, it doesn't sound like something I need to be watching. All right, this is something else I can send someone's way. I already have this collection. Shout out to Ice Cube, man, on the Friday movies, because, you know, obviously you're never going to recreate that classic Friday. And Chris Tucker obviously bailed on Ice Cube and went on and did the Jackie Chan stuff and other movies. But I really thought that Next Friday was good too. And even the third Friday film, Friday After Next, was fun. They're all fun films, man. Very good job. Ice Cube deserves a lot of credit, man, for putting together some really fun films. All right, this is cool that this is on Blu-ray. I don't think I've ever seen this. I have heard about this film. It's got Renee Zellweger in it. Bradley Cooper's in this as well. I like Bradley Cooper as an actor. Oh, you know what? I was thinking about somebody else. This Bradley Cooper. Bradley Cooper's a good actor as well. He was in the movie about the sniper that comes back from the war, and he has PS post-traumatic syndrome. Oh yeah, I recognize that guy. It's another good actor. But yeah, what is this about? This is not a horror movie? Oh, it's a supernatural thriller about a social worker who has been assigned to an unusual and disturbing case of Lilith Sullivan, a girl with a strange and mysterious past. When Emily opens her home in an attempt to help Lilith, it turns into a deadly nightmare she may not survive. Bradley Cooper was in The Hangover as well. Case 39 is a heart-stopping chiller and startling surprises that lead to a shocking and sinister ending. I think I saw a movie with Lilith Sullivan, like the name Lilith Sullivan on the cover. So it must be some kind of story. I don't know if it's based on true events, but some cases should never be opened. All right. That back there. Man, I'm running on empty, man. I gotta go on grocery shopping after this and edit this video. Now, this is an interesting movie. Like, I don't know. Like, I got the feeling this is gonna be pretty cool. I mean, it's got 4 films from writers and directors Adam Green, Joe Lynch, Adam Rifkin, and Tim Sullivan. So this should be pretty fun. It's got some badass artwork. So I don't know if it's a spoof or what's going on. It's probably a spoof. I'm not a big fan of spoofs, but I don't know. It just looks cool. It's got inner artwork, and I like the clear case on it. I like the slipcover art. This might be fun. I'm really surprised this flew under my radar. I'm going to have to ask Mr. Tiburon if he's seen this. I have the feeling he's probably seen it, because he's not going to just look at this cover and not watch it. No one could look at this cover and not watch it. It's impossible. All right, now, here's the 2 weirdest things he sent. Then we'll get to the Laserdisc. So he knows that I'm a fan of the witch genre. Like, I like witch movies, witchcraft, witch movies, and even, I was going to say Warcraft. No, even like Warlock. Like, Warlock is like male witches. You know what I mean? Like, that's another genre that are subgenre of the witches. I think it should be included in that, you know, subgenre of witches, because those are male witches, right? And so if you send me witch movies, you send me warlock movies, it makes perfect sense, right? But he's like literally sending me like black magic teachings, like witchcraft, rebirth of an old religion. It has a pentagram on it. It's Raymond Buckland, and an inside look at real witchcraft. Explore one of the fastest growing religions in the United States and Great Britain, Wicca. So this is literally like witchcraft, rebirth of the old religion. I don't know if I would watch something like this. I don't want to become a witch. I don't want to learn about witchcraft and become a Wicca. I'm not that much into witch movies, Mario. This guy, man. This guy. I don't know why. I have to feel this is probably like worth like 20, 30 bucks. I have to look it up. And I used to be a pretty, you know, I was definitely a hip-hop kid. Been called ghetto a few times in my younger years. This is just too ghetto for me to even comprehend. I don't even know what the fuck this is. Blowing them up? It's like literally guys in cars blowing girls' dresses up with their horns? I mean, what does this even mean? I have no clue what this is about. It's just dumb. Hornblasters.com. Some of the most bootleggish crap I've ever seen in my life. And it's got these stupid like quotes on the back of it that's supposed to make you want to watch it. I have got to get me a set of those horns. Cut me off again. LOL. It's just like the dumbest shit ever. Throw that in the trash. Alright, and he sent me more Laserdisc. I guess he doesn't understand. I'm trying to phase out of Laserdisc. Or not phase out. I'm trying to streamline my Laserdisc collection. I want to only own super badass films. I don't want to own, you know, it's very simple. I want to own rare horror stuff. I want to own so bad it's good films, but are action, fighters, sci-fi, cyborg, android, and those type of movies, okay? I don't want to own Driving Miss Daisy on Laserdisc, okay? But he sends me more. So let's see if any of these are good. So first off, he sends me something I've never even seen before, and I have no interest in whatsoever. But it is factory sealed, which is interesting. And that is Casablanca. I don't know. Maybe I need some culture. Maybe I need to be cultured. Maybe I need to watch this and gain myself some culture. I don't think so. All right, so next up, this is a movie I'm pretty sure I own on laser already. Casino, but this is also factory sealed. So there you have it. Great film. De Niro, Stone, Pesci. This has even got our boy Woods in here from what's our boy name? Woods. What is his first name? Why does this not have the actors on it? Why am I thinking Robert Woods? He plays the sleazy hustler guy. James Woods, that's who it is. It's not on the back. For some reason, James Woods is not on the back. It makes no sense. I know he was in the movie. He's great. This is kind of an interesting, you know, I am into, too bad this is bent up here. This is another factory sealed friggin' movie. And this is a pretty good one. 2001, A Space Odyssey. Again, futuristic movies that are, you know, pre-2022 is kind of weird. But, I don't know. Deluxe letterbox edition. I mean, it's kind of cool. Yeah, man. I'll probably keep this for the collection. I'm so into sci-fi stuff. I don't know where he got these from. They're all factory sealed. It's pretty crazy. And this is a childhood favorite, man. Crocodile Dundee. Who doesn't love Crocodile Dundee, man? Everybody loved him growing up. There's like 3 of these movies, man. I think I went to see these movies with my parents, like all 3 of them when they hit the theaters. Back before streaming, when every movie was at the movie theater. Yeah, fun film. Okay, and you know, this is a movie that me being a big Witch fan, I'm surprised I haven't rewatched this in a long time. So this is also pretty cool here. The Witches of Eastwick. The Witches of Eastwick, where Jack Nicholson's a devil in this movie, and it's got one hell of a cast. It's got Michelle Pfeiffer. It's got Susan Sarandon. Cher is in it, and who was that other girl? Oh yeah, Susan Sarandon. But yeah, Jack Nicholson plays the devil in this one. I haven't seen this in many, many years. I'm going to have to do a top 10 witch movies of all time. I wonder if this is on the list. Alright, I'm definitely into sports horror. And this is a Laserdisc that I don't even think I've seen before out in the wild. I like the black cover art on it. This is probably a keeper, man. Deluxe widescreen presentation. De Niro, Snipes, The Fan. All fans have a favorite player. This one has a favorite target. And again, this is factory sealed. It's pretty insane. He found a bunch of these factory sealed Laserdiscs, excuse me. But yeah, if you guys don't know about this, Wesley Snipes plays he's actually on the San Francisco Giants in this movie. And Robert De Niro's like a huge fan of the team and him. But he becomes this obsessive fan, and he actually goes after him and starts stalking him, trying to murder him. It's a really fun film. Very reminiscent of... what's the other De Niro movie where he's like stalking Juliette Lewis? He plays a good stalker character. Y'all know what I'm talking about. Juliette Lewis. All right, that's not bad, man. I appreciate it, Mario. I mean, these are, you know, the Laserdisc are definitely, some of them are definitely a winner. This is a movie I don't even think I've ever even seen before. I mean, obviously I know about it, and we have Robert De Niro again. And Robert De Niro plays, he's Frankenstein in this, I believe, which is very interesting. Mary Shelley's Frankenstein. I'm gonna have to check this out. I don't think if I watched this, it was when I was real young. I haven't seen it in years, or I've never seen it before. So I'll be checking that one out. All right, thanks. I do appreciate it. Oh yeah, there's a couple more things in here. Send me this. What is this? Some kind of spear, some kind of round, shiny thing. How do you, is this music? How do you play this? Oh, I have a slot here in my dashboard. Does that go into the slot? No, I'm just playing. So yeah, he sends me the big 80s, the big movies. I'll probably throw this in the car, driving to work. Play it every once in a while. It's got songs from Ferris Bueller's Day Off, Pretty in Pink, Ghostbusters, Weird Science, Valley Girl, Less Than Zero, 16 Candles, Another 48 Hours, Streets of Fire, and so on and so forth. So yeah, I'll check that out. And then something I was never really into, but I do remember it. When did this come out? Oh, that's why. This came out before I was born. This was big before I was born. That's kind of cool. Mad Magazine. It has Robert De Niro. I'm not Robert De Niro. Charles Bronson on the cover. And I just noticed this. I kind of like this this back art here. The silencers. It's got a revolver where they're putting cigarettes in it. That's pretty cool. That's pretty telling and pretty what's the word? Pretty not innovative, but like forward thinking for back then, back in 75, that cigarettes are so deadly. You didn't see a lot of that. So that's really cool that they were mocking cigarette companies and doing that. I think that's really badass. Now, I stopped smoking cigarettes like, I don't know, it's been like 10 years now, over a decade. So I'm very proud of that. And now, of course, the new thing is vaping. I mean, I just wish people would just realize. I lost my mom's sister to lung cancer, so that played a big part. My daughter, you know, loving my daughter and everything, and her getting on my case about it, because she was being taught at school that cigarettes were bad, which is really awesome, right? Was another big factor in why I stopped smoking. I'm so glad that I did. And last cover here, he knows I'm a huge fan of The Exorcist, so you have The Exorcist barf bag. If the devil made you do it. In this issue, we gag up The Exorcist. So I don't know what I'll do with these, but, you know, they're pretty cool. All right, guys, that is it. Break some windows here. Thank you for checking out the video. I'm the PMM, the Physical Media Mac. Good luck finding whatever physical media you are looking for. And tell me in the comments below. No, I actually did that on my community page already. I don't want to know these shark movies, but I'll tell you what. Tell me in the comments below at least 3 of your favorite vampire movies of all time. And try not to make them the most obvious ones, if you can. If you can't, put the obvious ones, but if you know some that don't get a lot of love, that you really enjoy, put those in the comments below. And I'll see you guys in the next video. Have a great rest of your week, and see you guys probably next Sunday. Hopefully I'll find something out in the wild. I haven't really found too much in my local area, but I will be on the hunt and trying to score some really cool movies. I'll talk to you guys later.